Alright, so I got a different type of video today. I'm going to be going over a whole bunch of stuff that Murata has said regarding the series. Murata, if you don't know, is the illustrator of the One Punch Man manga. He has the closest relationship to the series creator one, more so than pretty much anyone, at least with the creation of this series. So we're going to be getting into a lot of deep cuts. I won't be going into any webcomic spoilers or anything like that, mainly just stuff pertaining to the manga. And I'm sure a lot of you hardcore fans and, you know, longtime followers of the channel already know about this stuff, but I have a feeling that most of you probably haven't heard this stuff before. So let me also say that there's a lot of fun to be had here and a lot of interesting stuff. So let's get into it. What if Saitama didn't hit the moon? This is of course referencing when Boros kicked him there in the famous fight scene at the end of season 1. And Murata says, serious fart, or just simply blow in the opposite direction will do the trick. But this is just my guess. You will still have to ask one sensei for the specific answer. And then the translator says, please don't take this too seriously. Murata was joking. And while he was joking, it kind of makes sense. I mean, in theory, he could do this if that were to happen, because this is a question that I see a lot too, because it is pretty coincidental, and, you know, the odds of, you know, Boros kicking Saitama to the moon the way that he did are, like, astronomical, but if he just kicked him into space, more or less Saitama would be able to survive it. He just wouldn't go, you know, out into the void. I'm sure he could do something to propel himself back to Earth, more or less. I wanted to see Metal Bat versus Sweet Mask. This is also a question that was asked by one of our community members, Bardock, back when Murata actually used to stream last year. And Murata said Sweet Mask isn't very popular among the fans. He also hasn't done much yet, but I assure you he's quite strong. Definitely dodging the question here, which I'm sure Murata probably doesn't even know the answer to himself. And maybe I'll make a video about this in the future. I did originally, but I feel like I need to make a new one, as my opinions and stances on these characters have changed a lot since then. So look out for that, but yeah, still an interesting thing to think about nonetheless, I suppose. Can you elaborate on the fighting spirit scene? So this is referencing when Garo had woken up after his near-death encounter with Royal Ripper, and he says that he feels he's become stronger and that his wounds have healed, and he says, oh, this must be fighting spirit. And then we see him remembering Metal Bat. And people seem to believe that this means that Garo had somehow learned or adapted Metal Bat's fighting spirit ability, the inherent ability that Metal Bat has, where the more damage he takes, the more powerful he becomes. But Murata's kind of clarifying here that the Metal Bat scene was meant only as a flashback. And the translator is kind of doubling down on that when he says this means Garo's fighting spirit is his own. And I kind of feel the same way, because we know that Garo can learn techniques from his opponents, but he can't really learn abilities. And the fighting spirit thing is kind of like inherent to Metal Bat. Although you can really take that for however you want, but I really feel that this is kind of disambiguating it here. And also, Murata also wasn't willing to reveal anything regarding the future of the Council of Swordsmen. This is a very interesting topic as well, because we only saw them once, you know, the whole Monster Cell thing and Harigiri and Atomic Samurai. And it's like, are they going to come back? Are we going to go more into that? Because they did say that they have students and everything, and they say that they rival the S-Class and whatnot, or just the Hero Association in general. And we've seen that, you know, the whole ninjas have their own little subplot, sub-story, side thing going on. So is the Council of Swordsmen going to come back? Well, we're not really going to know for now. Why didn't Genis clone his top monsters? I don't think Ashura, who is Carnage Kabuto, can be cloned easily. However, there are secrets with Dr. Genis that will be revealed in the future, so stay tuned. This is, of course, his webcomic stuff, which I'm not going to get into, but it's pretty cool that he's reaffirming this and kind of clearing up that, like, yeah, this is why he didn't have, like, a whole bunch of Carnage Kabutos, despite him having a whole bunch of clones of himself, because it's not really easy. What is Evil Eye's actual disaster level? One sensei wrote unknown, since Evil Eye is my original character. Its power is multi-building level, and its only purpose is to show how strong Tatsumaki is. So that's pretty interesting, in case you weren't aware that Evil Eye is Murata's own creation, and he does have a few original characters to his own in the series, but I just want to clear up also that, like, just because he has his own original characters, it doesn't mean that Murata is responsible for any of the writing of the series. So let's just get into that next. In the redraw version, this is of course talking about the manga's adaptation of the webcomic, is the Garo Arc written by one sensei. And Murata says, this is frequently asked question, it's all written by one. So that just clears it up. None of this has been written by Murata. He doesn't really do anything in that department. Now, some of the fighting scenes, he will change or make them his own, But as for the progression of the story and the plot points and motivations and just how the characters are in general, that's all one. I mean, everything. The bonus chapters. Who is Orochi? Will his past be revealed? I haven't heard anything from 1 yet. So I think that's kind of settling it, especially now that he's dead and the chances of him coming back are kind of slim, although there is still a possibility. But as far as we're going to go with Orochi, we're just going to know that he was a random human that Garo saw potential in, or at least felt potential in, and that it's kind of implied that he was a good martial artist, kind of like how Garo was at least, so that's about it. Who is Blast? Tentatively, I've asked one sensei, but I can't say it now. So that's interesting, right? It's like, we know that Blast is Blast, but maybe it means that Blast has an identity. Maybe somebody that we already know? Maybe you should check out my video, The Bearded Worker Rabbit Hole, maybe? I don't know. It's kind of odd. Murata is not sure what the other side of One Punch Man's Earth looks like. So that's super interesting. It's something that I constantly forget about. So we know that the continent, I guess, that they're on right now comprises of the cities that the Hero Association protects, more or less. We know that the S-Class heroes and everyone else resides in these cities, which have, like, letters assigned to them. But if we see, like, the perspective of the Earth, you know, after Saitama, Sirius punches away, Boros is collapsing Starboard Cannon, we see that he's on the continent that they're in right now, which is a city, and then we could just assume that everything else around there is, you know, all the other cities, and the majority of the location that the series currently takes place in. But then if we go over, we see another continent. So, like, what's that? You know, what's going on over there? Is the Hero Association just not dealing with that stuff? Or is there, like, a whole other Hero Association, possibly? This is, like I said, super interesting, because hopefully they touch on this later on. Maybe this is a future arc, a future storyline to go into. Like, maybe there's, like, a rival organization, or there's just not even rivals, there's just, like, a subdivision. And maybe there's, like, other S-Class heroes over there that we don't know about, possibly. So many speculations, and, you know, there's a chance that they never even go into that stuff. But it is weird that the geography is the way that it is. Goku versus Saitama. Who would win? I don't know. Genos looks like Westerner. I'm sure he's referring to, like, American, maybe just like a European, just like a white guy who's not Asian, I suppose. And then he says, haha, King is more like it. So this might be confirming that, you know, King is, yeah, American, maybe? That would be cool. Lily of 3 Section Staff, she's, you know, a part of the Fubuki group. She's the girl that we see prominent there. Her chest seems too big for a 14-year-old because she is using a brassiere pad due to her admiration towards Fubuki. So, whoa, that's kind of a bombshell. Lily's 14. So, yeah, I hope you guys knew that, because I don't want you to have any bad thoughts in your mind about this character, you know? Metal Bat is as fast as Sonic. Nope. So now we're just going to get into Murata, which I'm sure some of you are interested in. So he was asked what type of girl he likes, and he says, I'm not let's just say he doesn't like petite women. I prefer a plump figure, matured lady. So I'd say Fubuki, but the Fubuki from the webcomic is not plump at all. This version of Fubuki, referring to the manga, is fully based on my own liking and preferences. I love that word. I can't say it, you know, the algorithm guys. Come on, cut me a break. Since I was young, and the back, waist, and the butt. Guess I could say that. I'm having fun time drawing them. Tatsumaki is not my cup of tea, but turns out that I'm having fun drawing her as well. I've never been so interested in drawing the back and butt back then. So now this next one, I'm really going to be pushing the demonetization to its limit, possibly. So Murata was asked if he's ever read any of the One Punch Man's doujins out there. I hope I can say that. For me, he says, after I start reading it for a short while, I'm going to be like, no, this isn't right. Fubuki and Tatsumaki shouldn't act this way. No, this is wrong. And then I'll start to feel the urge to draw it myself. So that's interesting, in case anybody was wondering if he was ever going to do that, but we'll get into that. So he said, I have to stop reading. As for H, if given the chance, I'd like to try it, but I'm not going to draw One Punch Man H. One Punch Man with H story. Right, I often draw Fubuki and Tatsumaki in an arousing way, but there is still a limit to it, you know? Drawing H is a one-way street, and there's no turning back. If I really did it, then I guess I would become the only thing that I can draw afterwards. I know for now this type of storyline and topic seem to be somewhat successful. I guess he's referring to Shogeki no Soma. But in the long run, it will be difficult to write a story with a serious plot, since the readers will keep asking for fan service, right? Ha ha ha! Well, I'd still love to try drawing using a different art style. Murata thinks that the Flash from the OVA 6 is too muscular. Should have been slimmer, like Sonic. He's talking about the OVA with the murder mystery, the Pacific scene when we see Flash and the other S-Class heroes in the hot spring. Is the pig monster from the last episode Sensei's work? Yes, I designed it. Sorry it doesn't look good. So this is talking about, you know, the very last scene, I think, in season 1, when we see that huge monster Pluton, which has like similar feats to Beefcake. So if anyone's wondering, this actually is designed by Murata, which is pretty interesting. Do you like Sweet Mask more after the recent chapters? Murata said in the past that Sweet Mask is his least favorite character, and he's making him extra handsome in the Monster Association arc to try and like him more. Murata says, he still annoys me. He's strong, but so far he's just a mouthpiece. One Sensei has added more fights involving Sweet Mask later this arc. Maybe people will see a different side of Sweet Mask then. Can Saitama blow up the Earth? I guess if he wanted to, but I don't think he will. You know, we kind of already knew this. Smile Man, A-Class hero, has never smiled. And this is true, I actually double-checked after I read this. Very interesting little character dynamic here. Suiryu was very likely designed to use Drunken Fist at first, because in Japanese, the void has the same pronunciation as drunken, but the idea was likely to be abandoned by one. Suiryu's name is still written in katakana, so there is a possibility that Suiryu's official name in kanji to be Drunken Dragon instead of Water Dragon. Saitama has never stopped his training. So this is like clarifying it, and I don't know if this has been clarified in the manga. I just don't remember when it was specifically said if it was, but it's like the training that Saitama says he does, you know, with the running, the push-ups, and all that stuff, he still does it every single day, but he just knocks it out in like a few seconds because, you know, he's ultra powerful now. But this also just pushes him to become stronger every single day because his limiter's removed now. So if he just keeps training, he's just going to keep gaining like little bits of power every single day. And as the VGS kind of implied, every day he's stronger than the previous version of himself. But I'll make another video about this. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. I hope you had fun with this one. I hope you found it interesting. I mean, I do, but I love this type of stuff. But, you know, something different, you know, just have some fun. But if you liked it, please give it a like. Let me know what you thought about all this stuff in the comments. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.